wanted to talk about today, and three what I consider relatively quick and pretty easy ways to boost your revenues, grow your practice a little bit, that don't require any technical knowledge or having you, pay someone to do something for you. Because although there's something to be said in certain instances for, paid ads to get more new patients through the door, there are many, many ways to grow your practice without going there and relying on someone else and paying someone else to do this for you. So let's get to it. Let's talk about 3 quick wins, we'll call them. I feel like I talk about this one a lot, but it's because it's gigantic. First, front desk. Let's talk about your phones. I just released a 1-hour CE course in my school group on phone call mastery that teaches you everything you need to know about how to make sure your phones are being answered optimally and in a way that converts as many of those calls to booked appointments as possible. If you're curious about that group, just shoot me a message. I'll send you a link to get over there. But the key thing here is this. For most practices today, even though we're in a very high-tech age, the vast majority of your new patients come to you via a phone call, meaning they either got referred to you by a dentist or a specialist, depending on what kind of dentist you are, or by friends or family, or they found you on the internet through a Google search, or they landed on your website, or they drove by your practice, or whatever it is. They came across you in some fashion, and then they decided a phone call was the next step. And of course, if they're calling you, it means they have considered that maybe you are where they want to go for their dental or ortho or oral surgery or whatever it is that you do. And so since most new patients come to us via the phone, the people who answer the phones in your practice need to be darn good at answering calls, handling objections, getting people really excited for that first appointment so that they show up for that first appointment. And then of course there's follow-ups and things that go with that. But your phones are one great way to boost revenues in the practice and grow. If you think about it this way, let's say you were getting 100 new patient phone calls every single month. The average dental practice converts at like 50%. So you get 100 new patient phone calls and 50 people book new patient exams or new patient, whatever, something in the practice. Let's say your conversion rate goes from 50% on those calls up to 80%. Now, instead of 50 new patients, you've got 80 new patients. Now that's a really high number for, let's say, like a general dental practice, but for ortho, that's a very reasonable number. That's a huge difference. Think about that, growing by 30 new patients a month just by answering your phones better. And you didn't have to do anything else. Yes, you have to spend a little bit of time and energy making sure the people who answer the phones are doing it in the best possible way, but that's huge. And actually that opportunity lies in many, many practices. Our practice, we actually just did a phone training today, and we've always done quite well on the phones since we've changed the way we answer phones. And I think our latest stats showed that we're converting at about 85 to 87%. And I'm really happy with that. Anytime we're over 80%, I'm good. We're always shooting for 90, but like anytime we're over 80, I'm really excited. So that's one thing, is making sure they get turned into booked appointments. Now, to get from phone call to booked appointment, there's a few skills they have to have, right? I mean, they have to be happy and positive and helpful on the phone. They have to be really good at talking you up, making people confident really quickly that you are the right place for them to come. So they've got to be able to build rapport and trust with someone on the phone quickly. They need to gather the right information so that stuff can happen. They need to assume the booking. So they're not just saying to people, hey, do you want to book an appointment? That doesn't go over well. They need to be saying things like, oh, we can't wait to see you. I've got an availability tomorrow at 1 o'clock or Tuesday at 9 a.m. Which one works better for you, right? There are many ways to handle all the things that could happen on the phone, but phones are usually a great opportunity. If you're unsure how things are going on the phone, start tracking the KPIs that will show you what that is, but also audit some phone calls. If you can record your calls, great, do that, and then listen to some phone calls to see if they're being handled in a way that you like. It's probably a great place to start. Okay, number 2. You need to reactivate or figure out what's hanging around that maybe you couldn't close on or didn't close on initially. So this is all about follow-up and reactivation. This is really big if you are a general dental practice where you've got people who treatment was recommended and they didn't come in. You've got people who had come in for a hygiene visit but then never returned. Hopefully, you have some very, very robust follow-up systems and automations built into the current practice. But if you don't, this can be a massive gold mine. That means we're either emailing everybody, calling everybody, texting everybody, like, or doing all of those things for everybody that we can possibly find in our practice management system that has treatment sitting there that has been recommended that has not been completed. A lot of offices I talk to have some sort of follow-up that happens, but after 1 or 2 follow-ups, they bail. They just don't do anything after that. People are busy. Life happens. Sometimes they just can't do it in that moment where they came to see you, but life has changed and maybe they want to do that thing now and they just kind of forgot all about it because they're busy. Maybe their teeth aren't the number one thing in their life. We can kind of assume that that's the case. The key with reactivating or messaging and heading into this follow-up kind of scenario to try to capture people that didn't do the things that you asked them to do initially is the messaging has to come across like a, hey, we miss you. Hey, we care about you. Hey, we haven't seen your beautiful face in a while. You want to come see us? You could include some kind of offer or gift with that, or you could just reach out to everybody and say, hey, I'm thinking about you. You want to come in? And so a lot of offices can find a whole bunch of production just by doing this. In a case like me, I'm an orthodontist, so in an orthodontic practice, we always have lists of people who either said no to treatment, or maybe they're on our growth and development, like a recall list, and we haven't seen them for a really long time. We wanted to see them a year from now, and it's been 2 years and they haven't come in. All of these things can be looked at and should be looked at pretty regularly to see where the opportunity lies with people who have already met you once and come to see you. So I highly recommend that you go through yourself or have team members go through and find, what do we have sitting in the system already? What can we offer to people, or how can we entice people, or what kind of messaging can we use to people to get them back into the practice? This is something you probably should be doing at least twice a year already if you're not, but if you haven't done this in a long time, there's a whole bunch of dentistry waiting there ready to be done. So that's the second thing that you can try that really just takes some time. It's all just sitting there. Reach out. Number 3, if you want to grow, and this is more of a long-term strategy, but an easy one to do, and I think one of the most important things. The reason people stay with practices, the reason people come back time and time again, the reason they tell other people about you, which of course is what we want everyone to do. It's the best source of new patients, is direct referrals from people who love you already. If you aren't already, you should be spending an inordinate amount of time, in my opinion, on your patient experience. Meaning, what kind of experience do your new patients have? They're probably the most important, but also all the rest of your patients have when they come through the practice. Are you doing things that make people feel special, that make them feel understood? Not every practice will have the same feeling or vibe. You know, some practices are high energy and fun. Some practices are more luxury. Some practices are more about calm and, you know, easing anxiety and that kind of thing. You can have your own like feel, the way that you want your practice to be known, the type of people that you want to attract to that practice, but it should be intentional. There should be some planning around how we're going to treat people, the customer service we're going to provide to people, the experience that people are going to have when they come through the practice. This is a phenomenal way to grow a practice. And like I said, it's a slow burn, but having this slow burn happening constantly, it is the way basically that I have grown my practice almost exclusively, is through the way that we treat people is how the practice has grown. So our reputation in the community, our reputation amongst our existing patients, and why we have such a high volume of word of mouth referrals that come to us is because we spend so much time making sure that we're treating people in the best possible way and that they're having the experience that we want them to have when they come into the practice. It's very much designed. It is not by default. We have systems in place. We talk about this. We role play things. We practice to make sure that from that first phone call, through their first visit, through the conversations that they have, through what they overhear, through what they experience, what we give to them, like all of those things are designed on purpose to provide the experience that we want people to have so that they will leave and be like, wow, that was better than I expected. And if you can get to there, where a lot of people are saying, wow, that's better or different than I expected, you're winning. Because people have an idea of what they think a dental experience should be like. And so when you do something that is outside of the ordinary, something that is, yes, extraordinary or surprising in some way, something that makes you stand out, that makes you different and makes them feel good, that's winning. That is how you stand out from the crowd. That is how you no longer get seen as a commodity in your market, by focusing on the patient experience itself. So that's 3 ways I've just given you that you can increase revenues in a practice, grow your practice if that's what you're trying to do, without any outside sources or things you have to pay for. It's by getting your phones handled optimally so that everyone who is finding you is coming to see you. It's about making sure that you have robust systems in place to make sure that people who you presented treatment to and who maybe couldn't accept in the moment, you're following up with them, you're re-engaging people, you're recapturing people that are sitting in that pool that you already have all of their information on. And it's about wowing, impressing the people who come to see you so that they want to stay. People don't make decisions about things like dentistry, right? Things that they often have to pay for, or at least a portion for, just on price alone. I mean, think about buying a car. We don't all sit down and go, okay, who sells the cheapest car? And then go buy the cheapest car. Otherwise, then there would only be cars that cost that price around. There are many, many reasons we would pick a more expensive car. It's like, and cars are a huge purchase. So not everybody is driving like a Kia, as an example. There are people who drive BMWs and Land Rovers and, whatever other expensive car you can think of, Maseratis. And there are people who drive Kias and Hondas and Hyundais and whatever. The point being, when you can be special, unique, better in some ways than other people around you, then you get to stand out. So not only is that great because more people want to come to see you because you stand out, but then people are no longer just looking at the fees, the prices. Also, when you're the best, you can charge more. So, I mean, there's some bonus to that as well. So there are 3 good ways that you can grow the practice. And if maybe you're focusing on one of those and maybe haven't considered one of the other ones, go for it. Like, these are 3 easy triggers that you can pull if you need to. Okay, I'm keeping it short today. I got a busy evening. I got a whole bunch of stuff to do. I hope that was helpful for some of you. I'll be back next week on Wednesday with something else fun.